All right, we're back. What's up, everybody? I am Ryan Doyle, your host here at the Vertigo Table. We're about to explode some creation with the illustrious James, the Dungeon Master with a day job, DM with a day job on the YouTubes. How you doing today, man?
Hey, doing pretty good. Looking forward to it.
It's gonna be good. I like your whole approach to things. You are bringing very practical, like nuts and bolts advice. We were talking during the break about one video which caught you some flack because anytime you talk about the official stuff, woo boy, do they come out of the woodwork.
Yeah,
But I believe there's a quote in there. I'm going to misquote it, but the players are not your customers.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's from that one. I was like, yes, that is. And to be fair, there are paid dungeon masters out there, and
yeah,
good for them. But if you're hanging out with your friends, you should be having a good time, guys.
yeah. And then I don't want to be your waiter. I want to be your friend, not the person that's bringing you the food that you're yelling about. This fish is undercooked. Look, I'm hanging out with you, having fun time. Like, I'm sorry that you didn't enjoy this session. Maybe you'll enjoy the session next. I don't want to deal with that. That's one of the reasons I've never done the paid dungeon masters is like I feel like I would be responsible as
Mm,
a customer service provider to then make sure that they have the excellent session that they paid for, and that is not solely within my power as a dungeon master. That is, the other players at the table are there. I mean, it's one of the reasons, like, I don't like to bring up Critical Role in my channel. I watch it, I enjoy it, but they're doing their thing, and I can't be a dungeon master like Mercer. But like, if you want to be a dungeon master like Matt is, you better have players like he has, because that's
mm.
the only way that's working. And if you show up as a player not like that, you are not going to have the game that he has because it takes both.
And there's a lot of people at that table, and they're helping each other
They're
have
all
those
supporting
spotlight
one
moments.
another, and like it is a shared purpose. Sure, maybe he's got one end of the couch, but they are all holding the other end of the couch up at the same time, going, no, no, we all lift this. Hey, Whitney. For those that are on YouTube, if you hear a snort, that's because she is in my lap. She is always in my lap when I record videos, because if not, she is loud and angry and she will make baying noises, and then I lose an entire section. So she will be, yep, see there, she's spinning and she's asleep. Right back
And
down.
settled. Dolly hereby refuses to one be used for likes and subscribes and views. Hey, hit those buttons, by the way, YouTube people. But the she's like, no, I will not dance for you. I am not your monkey. Two, I believe she's convinced I'm insane because I come in here and I sit in this office and talk to myself for hours on end. And she's like, she
Nope.
used to hang out in here. She won't come in here anymore. She's like, I don't know what you're doing, but it ain't good.
There are certain noises that I will make during editing process when I lose a take and I groan or I yell or I scream and I do some noise and she just goes, nope, I'm gone. This is time to go. She just gets up and leaves, doesn't want anything. She's like, this is becoming frustrating. I don't want to be here. I need to figure out what that tone is, and maybe I can produce it in advance to get her to. She keeps my lap warm.
Ooh.
And when I moved up, to Michigan, which is where I live, I was afraid that I would have no dog because my girlfriend at the time, now wife, we got married. She had dogs, wonderful dog Ella. She's part of the reason that I fell in love with my wife. Was, oh, you have a sweet dog. She's kind and things. I know that's a weird thing, like, but it was
No,
something about
I
like,
get it.
you have a sweet dog, you must also be a sweet person. Um, and was moving up, she was like, I'm gonna get another dog. What, before I move? And then which dog's gonna be my dog? Like, no, it'll be fine. You'll have a dog. They'll love you. Will they? Because you're gonna raise both of them. And then I got up and she bought Whitney, or sorry, you were bought. Did you know you were bought? Um
I'm
the
adopted.
yeah, you're adopted. Um and the Whitney and I bonded just immediately. She's like, oh, hi, you have a lap. I'm lap sized. Let me sit in your lap. And like, that's where she basically lives her life. She goes walk, she does that thing, but like, if she's sleeping, she wants to be with her father.
I have such a hard time giving my players pets. because they might forget about them or drag them into combat. And it's just like,
There is
don't make me kill your dog because I roll in the open. Like I'll do it.
my best hint. If you were going to, Curse of Strahd is probably the most played TTRPG Dungeons and Dragons campaign that there is certainly in the fifth edition one. And if you want to impress upon them, this is not my idea. I think I saw it on Lunch Break Heroes somewhere else. Mandy Mod put it in there, and I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Give your players a dog before they go into the death house. It does a number of things. One, it helps take off some of the weight of that first set of encounters in that death house when everyone's level one. They're a little fragile. And then later, when they go down to the bottom and they have to make that choice, the dog is there.
Mm,
And one of your
mm,
players will come
hmm
up with the idea. And all of a sudden, everyone realizes what kind of campaign a gothic horror campaign is. And then the dog, in this case, my players called him Nikolai, did make it through the house. They all agreed, no, we're not doing that. We are going to fight for this dog. And then the dog ended up going down during a vampire, and they kept that dog's icon. We did it in Roll20 for the rest of the campaign. They named their party after him. Nikolai was the best boy. We're keeping him. One, they'll attach to that pet. They will love it. It takes off some pressure from you. It also provides a story moment where they all go, oh, this is what gothic horror means. And later they will have a thing that they remember. And maybe yours will take the dog all the way to Strahd. Nikolai did not make it to Strahd, but they remember that dog to this day.
Man, that was like that moved me. Yeah, that hits. That's the good stuff. So, fun fact, that moment's happening tonight in my game.
Good luck.
I never ran Strahd because for a decade I fooled myself into thinking one day I might be a player. So I didn't even read it. Like I know a lot about it, but I
Yeah.
didn't read it until recently because I was like trying not to spoil myself. And now I'm like, all right, we're doing it, we're running it. But I set it up. There was this, I'm a very sandboxy exploration
Yeah.
guy, so like I had a
Absolutely.
few signposts. I had some new players at the table. They're trying to do the video game thing where it's like, well, if we string these all together, we can complete all of this. Like, there's 4 years of content on the table. Like, you guys are gonna have to pick a lane.
Yeah.
Out of game, like this is kind of vanilla D&D. This is like war, and this is gothic horror. And they chose that. And it's like, okay, you have chosen this. The gates close behind you if you walk through them. This is the world we live in now. So buckle up. We're ready. And
There is
yeah,
a
tonight's the night where I think we're gonna get to the bottom of Death House because we've kind of been slow playing it. Um, and my
when you get to
buddy,
it, there is a video on my channel about uh making Strahd challenging. It it was the he was a great fight. They had a lot of fun in there. But one of the players got turned, the bard there,
mm,
and the he ended up coming back at the end of the campaign with the evil Vistani. I didn't play the Vistani where they were all evil. Some of them were good, and some of them wanted to help, and then some of them were like, "No, Strahd feeds on the people of Barovia, and they treat us like crap. So we're perfectly okay with Strahd because he doesn't eat the Vistani." Spoilers, that's what a vampire does. He eats people, um, drinks their blood. Same thing. Um, so he came back, and the fight that I did with him, the players lost their minds. Best fight they've ever run. They're like, this guy is fantastic. I don't care that it's my old character. He is the best part of this. We ran that campaign for like 2 years. The best part of the campaign was that fight of just like watching him use the vicious mockery to mock every one of his former party members for what they had done. There's a beautiful Spanish guitar version of Castlevania
mm,
played
mm,
during it. I just played that because it was the bard playing the song to his music. It went fantastic. They loved that whole fight.
love it.
But you got a
It's funny.
while
So
till we
I,
get there.
oh yeah. That's the problem with any big campaign like that is like trying not to get too far ahead of yourself. Like,
Yep.
oh, you know what's going to be cool? This part in like 14 months. And that takes the shine off of what you're doing to at level 3 or
Yep.
whatever. It's a trap. It's definitely a trap that I've
It
fallen
does.
into enough times to know how to avoid now.
It definitely does. My players. Well, I'm going to show them the video. Players, they're my players. Mute this bit. They've been slowly building up over the whole campaign. I don't know where it is. I don't know what the story is going to be. Am I stopping? Or are you
No,
stopping my?
this is for your players, I
Okay.
think. Sorry.
The
It was a
whole
weird thing.
campaign, I
I
didn't know
don't
who the villain was going to be. Didn't know how it was going to happen. They just said, "We want to fight demons." Okay, cool. Demons. I took War of Roses and Goku Jedi, merged them together into this big civil war thing, and the demons are taking advantage of the chaos of civil war. It weakens the boundaries demons are flooding in. They made a deal with a one of the players during a fight with Succubus. It didn't go well, but they drove the Succubus off. She came by afterwards and made a deal with one of the players. Happens to be my wife made a deal and signed a pact with her. And slowly, one of the other players was like, "Hey, we want to fight dragons. We want to fight dragons all the time. I want dragons to be my arch enemy." So they've been killing dragons. I thought it'd be really cool if like I could showcase all the different dragons. Then they got an urn, and the urn is I don't remember if it's in fifth edition these days or not, but enervates. It steals spirit energy. It's not soul, it's spirit. So soul jar. So it's they've been going around these dragons, and one of the things that really helps out killing a dragon is using enervation on a dragon. So now they have this jar filled with the spirit energy of 5 different colors of dragons. And
Mm.
they have a succubus demon over there that would really like to displace her master Grost. And then they got Grost's soul in a gem. And I'm going like, so you have the energy of 5 different colored dragons, and you have the soul of a demon, demon lord, and you have this demon succubus that would really like to be more than she is. What if I just put these together, and this is how Tiamat is born in my world. So that I think, I mean, they might not do it. They might kill her. They're trying to figure out a way to put her in another gem now so that they can use her to make a magic item because that won't ever go wrong. Um, they're trying to figure out a way to like turn her into a magic sword. By all means, go for it, players. Um, and if they do that, I might have to resurrect Grust. There's some plot lines that I could reintroduce, like a Loth villain or Vecna, something. I can do whatever I want in here, but I think that's where they're going to go. And I've painted up Tiamat, and it's been sitting there at the table in this shelf for like 2 years now. Them not knowing that that's what she's there for is like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good Tiamat. Let's keep playing. We'll see if she ever comes out. But I think if they go the way that they seem to be going, that's what's going to happen. They're going to end up with this soul in a phylactery, a body of a giant blue dragon as what they think is the ultimate fight, dead on the ground. Stephanidius, the imp that the player thinks is now on their side, is going to steal the jar that has the 5 dragon souls, put it down along with the soul gem that holds Grost's energy, and then the phylactery that is holding Manatra imprisoned, and combine them into a ceremony to make Tiamat appear, and that will be the end villain. I think we will see.
I love that. Like they built Tiamat. Like that's where I was like
Yeah,
immediately like, yes, that like my dungeon master gears turning there. My I don't know if it's a catchphrase, but it's something I've said more than once in my dungeon master careers. What's the difference between a demon and a devil? You can make a deal with a devil.
yeah,
The demon's gonna figure out I mean the devil's gonna figure out how to screw you too, but the demon's doesn't care about the contract. No, no, no,
yeah.
no, no.
No,
I'm
they're
not
just going to
lawful. I
tear it
don't
up.
give a yeah.
I know I said that. I didn't mean that. I don't care.
Yeah, that's your fault for trusting me. Like I'm a
Yep,
demon.
yep. But they did. They're very. I mean, they know what they're in for. I play with a bunch of adults, and they all know that this is what they're doing, and going like, "Hey, we're going to make demons with demons and devils, and these are not to be trusted." So they're not going to have hurt feelings when the demon betrays them. They're up for that and going, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is what we were for." So I feel like if I was playing with a bunch of younger players in this game, which I've played with younger players, they would misconstrue the friendship of the character and go, "But they were my friend." Were
Mm,
they?
mm.
That would hurt a bunch of younger players. I think if you're playing like teenage years, then you could probably in adults you can get away with that of going like, you knew who I was, the scorpion and the frog. You knew who I was when you agreed to carry me across the river. you didn't expect to be stung? No, no, yeah, we should have seen this coming.
And I liked you snuck in a little gem there, which I think might have gone by a couple people in the audience. You said one of your players was like, "Hey, you know it'd be cool dragons," and you're like, "Yes, they are cool. Be careful what you wish for. Here's all
Yes,
of the dragons. Just built Tiamat." Like that's a great like line of communication to have open. Like, all right, we're having a demon campaign. Someone at the table like went along with it because fine, but then like months of demons later, they're like, "Can we?" It's on the name of the box. Can we have a dragon, please? Yeah,
yes,
yeah. I'll figure it out. There's always a dragon
yeah.
somewhere. I got
Goodness.
one. I got one laying around here somewhere. Yeah.
But I don't know if they can
Case
see
in
him, but
point.
this will be the end boss of the campaign that they think is coming. His name is Nomos. He is the leader of the Blue Dragon Flight. They call them the Azatori, Azure Blue Azatori.
Mhm.
I'm not very clever when it comes to I like, not
No,
that I'm
that's
not
good.
clever. I like broadcasting it so that when they encountered the Azatori and I said dragons, they might go as got it. This dude's a dragon, and it's a blue dragon. Got it. I know what it is. So we will see if that they make an appearance. But you know, give your players what they want, and also give your players what be careful what they wanted, and they will find
Mhm.
out that oh, but that's fun. Like that's what he wants that to happen, right? He wants to end up fighting. There's no way you didn't say, I want to fight dragons and you didn't want to fight Tiamat. You said you wanted this.
You filled up that jar.
Yeah.
It's your fault. Oh man. And everybody knows Draconic is Latin. Like
Yes.
facts. So come on. Don't blame yourself. Um all right, that is very exciting. Let's cook up some stuff. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it connects to that. Maybe it's its own
We'll
thing
find out.
entirely. I'm going to open up the Game Master's
I'm excited. I
Compendium of
like making
Explosive
characters.
Creation. All right, you have opted to roll on the
I
table
have.
of contents. Give me that D100 action,
All
and let's
right.
see what kind of character we're cooking up today.
Wow. Boring roll. 10. Artisan.
10. Well, I like starting from boring sometimes because that'll
No, it's good.
make
No,
you
boring
stretch.
roll, not boring character. Like 10. Base is like, give me like a 83 or 10. Character fine. Number, don't like it.
It's fun. So it's alphabetical. So the
Okay.
numbers don't mean that much, but I went to a lot of trouble to make Weirdo 100. Weirdo was Gonzo for a long time, and I was like, no, this has to be 99 100.
Yep.
Otherwise, whatever. All right, I'm gonna ask you to roll a fistful of dice.
Okay.
D20, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We're gonna
D20,
cook up a character.
D4, D6, D12. Got them all D20, D6, D4, D12.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20. I don't know if
Four,
I heard you say 10,
six.
maybe.
Nope, I didn't.
Okay. And you can roll them separately if that's like
Nope,
space
they
constraints
make
dictate
more
it, but
noise.
it's way more fun. Yeah, to roll them all.
It's fun to roll dice. People that are making games where you don't roll dice, you can do that by all means, but it's fun to roll dice. All right, which dice do you want first? We got them all.
I would like the D20. This is going to be our drive, our dream, our aspiration, our artisan characters' motivations.
All right, our drive here is a 19. So what do we
19.
got?
To seek out beauty and destroy ugliness slash evil.
Okay. So maybe
We're
we
putting
got
a
like a painter, maybe it's a crafts person. I'm a painter, so let's do something slightly different. Let's say we got like let's do some sort of metal smith. All right, what do we got
mm,
next?
I like it. We're putting the art and artisan right away. The D12, our call to adventure. Why are we leaving the smithy or the silver shop or whatever
Uh, we
medium
got
it
a
may be?
7.
7. A rival has taken to the adventuring life.
Okay. So I've got someone that, in my training or, apprenticeship or whatever it is that has gone out there to do a thing uh, for whatever reason they've joined the adventuring life. And I'm feeling like they're maybe getting ahead of me. Why would they do this? Am I missing something? There's something new. Okay, keep going. What do we got
I love a
next?
good like competition edge
Yeah,
to it all. Like you're trying to make the most beautiful whatever filigree, candlestick, sword. And now this guy is like your rival, and he is going down to the dungeons. Like, why? Why is he doing that? I
like
gotta.
you go paint and you go learn from the masters and, study Da Vinci and Michelangelo and try to copy what they're doing. That's how you learn to paint is you copy the people that came before you. But if you're just sitting there in your room painting what you've always painted, you're gonna have a hard time growing. It's not impossible, but it's harder to make the leaps and bounds. So I could see like, from adventuring life, you've got someone that's out there going, look, I want to be a better smith in this case, as I'm seeing this character, wants to go out there and maybe they're in like a world like right now, I think Oblivion is big news because they re-released it. Everyone's playing Oblivion. The Dwemer are obviously really creative, really good smiths. You want to figure out what they're doing and how those things are made. You're going to have to go in the Dwemer room and Dwemer, however Bethesda pronounces that. You're going to have to go into those ruins to find how they made those things, study that artwork because it's not coming up the surface for you. So uh, my whoever this is that I'm competing with has now gone somewhere else, and now I need to follow them too to learn the secrets they've learned. What do we got next? We got a
Uh, D8, potential growth or character arc. We were actually talking about this last episode. You can be flawed and maybe even slightly annoying as long as you have a trajectory.
yeah. Your character is experiencing things. Experiences cause them to change and grow. We got a 3, the Hall.
3, from valuing the ideal forms to valuing relationships. Oh, interesting. Valuing ideal forms to valuing relationships.
Okay. Okay, so maybe I am someone that just really cares. I'm going on these adventuring groups. I'm an artisan. I want to learn more about crafting beautiful pieces of art in a like maybe I'm, an armorsmith, swordsmith, maybe I'm just a blacksmith. I want to learn more about these old master works of art. Like if you were a potter, looking at red figure painting from old Greek pottery and figuring out how they made those semaphores, whatever the pottery is called, making those. I would want to go look at actual pieces of it. I got to go into Greek ruins to do that. My character's going into Dwarven ruins to do that, and then realizing being kind of a jerk and being like, "Hey, I don't really care about the rest of you adventurers. You're a means to the end for me to get there." And then kind of starting to care about them would be a growth of a character. And I could, having gone to art school, there are definitely people that do not care about the other people that they're in art school with. They are just there to to learn how to paint, and they really don't care about what's going on, which they should, because then you make friends, and friends help you critique, which we talked about a little before. So, what do we got next?
Well, this is usually the point I'm going to say. Do you have any inkling of like class, species, what kind of character we're cooking
I
up? The answer
feel
can
like
be no, but
dwarf or elf is kind of the go-to one because smithing, Tolkien, dwarves making, weapons and armor and elves making rings. So I'm going to go completely opposite and say that we have a run-of-the-mill human here because humans can be interesting too. I like them too. I don't want to play one generally, but they're fine. That wants to know the secrets of these other species that are long lived, been around, been able to master their crafts. I want to know what it is that they know, why they're able to do this thing. Maybe my rival is a dwarven smith, and I'm trying to prove that my work as a human, a mere short-lived mortal, can be just as good as theirs, but I need to know what they already know to iterate on it. To go, okay, that's why you do this way. I'm going to show my art nerdiness here. You don't get Art Nouveau unless you've already had. Now I can't remember the term that came before it, but you wouldn't have it before the term that the art style that came before it. I think it was classical. You have to have that first, and then the next thing comes. And then beyond that comes Art Deco. Going, no, we've had so many floral things like the door to Moria that you've got behind you there.
Hmm.
Very Art Nouveau kind of style. But you don't get the Art Deco super columny columns in Moria that Jackson put in there unless the elves have already done Art Nouveau and you can go, but what if it wasn't so flowery? What if we didn't fill in every piece? Okay, I'll stop being an art nerd. Sorry, YouTube.
I no, I love the art nerdiness, and Art Nouveau and Art Deco are the two art nerdiest terms I use in D&D because that's clearly elven influence versus dwarven
Yeah,
influence. Like, oh yeah,
absolutely.
it's a Frank Lloyd Wright vibes. Dwarves made this. Like,
Yeah,
it's all right, so we got a dwarf, we got an artisan. G4 is going to give us a friendly faction. Perhaps we're a member, perhaps we're just
I
chill
have a
with them.
one.
One, the Steel Hammer, League of Smiths, who expanded over time to include nearly all trades.
Okay,
That
I can
sits right
see
on
that.
top.
That probably how I met my rival. We're part of this league. Maybe we have a league that's including all Smiths, but it's also including all trades, includes dwarves, elves, humans, and I maybe I am not inferior or I am inferior. We're going to find that out as my character goes along. But I definitely have a chip on my shoulder about people constantly thinking human work is inferior
Hmm.
to the dwarves and the elves. So I've got to go prove my worth within this league of smiths. They may or may not see it as worth as not worth something. Like they're friendly to me. So like, no, no, you're fine. You're good. You're doing good. But that's how we get. Okay. I'm talking too much.
I don't have the perfect encyclopedic knowledge of like fantasy literature in its entirety, but like I can't think of an example where that's explored, and it seems so obvious of like the human with 80 years feeling some sort of way about someone who's pretty similar to them having 800 years, you know, like that would make me feel some sort of way.
I mean,
Um,
in a kind of way, Tolkien does deal with that. You know, for any Tolkien fans, I'm going to get it slightly wrong because it's been a while since I read the Silmarillion. But he takes all the Numenorians and
mhm.
he parks them right outside, um, uh, going to
It's
Drat
like
memory. The,
Eden, stand in
yeah,
for Eden,
basically
whatever it
Eden,
is.
going, hey, you can see paradise.
Mhm.
You can't go there. Don't ever go there, but you can see it.
Yeah.
And yes, you get this long Numenorian life. That's great. Look, we gave you a long life. I mean, the elves are immortal, but you get a long life. Like comparatively, you'd start to see, okay, so sure, I live 600 years, but you are still immortal. You'd start looking at them going like 600 years still doesn't feel like a lot when you're immortal.
Hmm.
You'd start having a chip on your shoulder about it. I think the elves start most of the Lord of the Rings problems spring from the elves being a little bit arrogant and a little bit a bunch of jerks. And they didn't cause it, but they definitely didn't understand people. Their lack of empathy for humans causes them a lot of problems.
They are a haughty bunch. D6 is an asset, an ally, a friendly NPC.
Apparently, my asset and ally, as I see here, is Eldora Wheatley, an aged master of crafts who has also expertise in other areas. I mean, that kind of goes, I can see that going with my previous statement of like, maybe I am actually good at this or I am like progressing normally. And this master saying, no, you're doing fine. Or maybe she's the one that goes, you need to leave. If you're going to learn something, you can't just stay here in the forge doing what you've always done. If you make, because I was talking about Oblivion before Skyrim, if you make 10,000 daggers, you won't actually level your smithing skill all the way up. I know Skyrim teaches us that, but you won't. You're going to have to do the next harder thing and fail at it before you get to being good at it. So, Eldora Wheatley is now the ally that has said, hey, look, I mastered this by going out in the world and looking at other masterworks, other places. You're going to have to go do that too. And sends my rival out and then sends me out into the world. Okay.
Ooh, I love that. They're like they are both of our mentors, right?
Yeah,
If we're an artisan in some faux medieval fantasy setting, like odds are there's like an apprenticeship
yeah,
system going on. Like we came up together where we've been rivals the whole since we've been sweeping out the whatever the
yeah.
forge. I like that. Okay, D10 is the only one where big number good because it's given us a like a trinket all the way up to like a pretty decent magic item.
Unfortunately, I didn't roll well. These dice never rolled well. I rolled well. I guess I got a 19 on the D20. I rolled a 2. Uh,
Two.
so a
Uh
concept sketch. Is this the concept sketch? Conceptual
uh
sketch from the mentor?
yeah, conceptual sketch from a mentor or hero. Something is missing and it wouldn't work as it is.
Does this sketch not work? What if I, okay, if I've got, I think I'm trying to remember what, I think it's in Blue-Eyed Samurai, where her master is
Spoilers.
blind.
Sorry.
Spoilers. I think that's in the beginning. Spoilers. Sorry, anyone.
If you pay attention. Is it? Yeah, okay, never sorry.
Yeah.
Dumb
Is
joke.
um and what if that person's master is still around and we were sent out on adventuring not just to go get experience, we were sent out to go find them, but the picture that I have has been torn, so I only have half the picture and I'm now trying to find someone in the world based on half of a photograph and going like, do you fit this photograph? Do you fit this photograph? Do you fit this photograph? Uh, because that person, I played a character like this in with my first dungeon master, Kevin, where I wanted to learn how to make elven chainmail. It was a magic item back in the day in second edition. You had to be an elf to make it. I wanted to learn how to make elven chainmail. You got to go find a master elven smith that knows how to make elven chainmail to learn how to make elven chainmail. So, I'm riffing on that and saying, I want to know, the secrets of adamant. How do I go? How do I do that? Well, you got to go find this master. Okay. Where are they? Well, I got this photograph, this sketch that I drew, but it's been burned or half ruined. So good luck with that.
Hmm.
Okay.
Have you seen this person? It's
Yeah.
like,
That's missing half their head. That's all I got. Okay. Well, you better roll high on your perception check.
okay. If this was a real game, I would allow you to roll your D10 again because I would, if you're sitting next to someone who got magic items, I mean, that is a core, like, story beat character item. I'm not taking away your number two, but I will allow you to roll a D10 again if you so choose, and you get to keep both.
3. We're going right up the number chart.
But that's at least going to give you something.
Yeah.
Neutral militia multi-tool wink
Okay.
functions as most toolkits with slight penalty to effectiveness.
Okay. I mean, useful thing to have if I'm going out into a dungeon and I want to do some sort of work on something like a smith might actually be able to do some work on a lock, some work on a chest, maybe repairs to an item. Like if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, the Artificer class would be maybe the one that I pick for this character.
Hmm.
And having a tool that allows me to do a bunch of different kind of things at a disadvantage or just a penalty or something like that would be a useful thing for my character to go, I can try that. I'm just not going to be good at it.
Hmm.
And as a dungeon master, I'd say you can try that and you're not going to be good at it. And if you fail, you break it and go, okay, well, guys, I can try to pick this lock and maybe we get through before the ghouls realize that we're in the room. And maybe I break it. Now we're stuck in the room with the ghouls.
Or we, I'm going to get us in there, but this door will never close behind us.
Yeah. I hope we don't need to like bar this and fight someone on the other side because ghouls are going to be able to come through.
All right, I dig it. All right, so we got our human artificer. Do we want anything else? So the next page, we're gonna switch hats or voices. We're
Okay.
gonna go over to the dungeon master side of things. Anything from the player centric side You got open loops 4. Are we ready
No,
to
I'll
switch?
go. I'd roll with this character.
Cool. I like it. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna ask you to roll 4d6, please and thank you.
Dice aside, Whitney, you're snoring. Hey, can you wake up?
Oh.
All right. We've got all together or separately.
We're gonna go one
Separate.
at a time. So determine yourself in order. The first one is an antagonistic organization, a faction that is not super big fans of us.
All right, that would be a 2. We have the invisible hand.
The invisible hand nefariously corners the market on many materials to inflate prices. You were mentioning mithril or adamantine. You said
Yeah,
one of insert fantasy substance here.
generic fantasy
Uh,
metal cure. I mean, that makes sense with my trade guild. So we have the guild that makes things, and then we have the one that corners the materials. So like we make, something that you make out of, we make pots, right? Cast iron skillets.
mm,
We don't make iron. We have the corner on the iron market. So constantly trying to find new sources for these resources, but everywhere we're going, these folks are over here making sure that they've got that market nailed down. Would be would be a very mercantile campaign, at least my arc of it would, but it would take me to a lot of places. And so I could see that like being useful in a like why would we want to go there? Because that is where adamantine comes from. That's where mithril comes from. That's where orichalcum comes from. Let's go this other place. And I could back up the dungeon master in any way of going like, you need a way to get us to go to there. This is where the adventure is. I got your back. Just put a fantasy metal there, and I'm going.
heck yeah. I also like the why are we gonna go down to the mine for 15 gold pieces? Like that's not worth it. It's like, yeah, you like armor?
Yeah,
You're not getting that if we don't have a functioning
and I have
mining
a
system here.
a whole enchanted item system that I use where I've got, for harvesting monster bits. You go kill the monster. Monsters will give you a quality of item. If you're good at harvesting it and you roll well, you will actually upgrade the item rather than penalizing them because people don't want to kill monster and lose their loot. Um, and then that gives you like, this is a necromantic hide. But on the other side, like going down into the mine and going, why are we down here? Because I can also do that with mining veins and go,
Hmm.
I found a vein of, rarity matches up to like monster difficulty. So I found a rare vein of mithril. And then I'm going to try to mine this with my terrible tool that's a multi-tool. And if I manage I'm rolling with disadvantage, but if I manage to get it, I get the mithril out that I can combine with your monster bits back when we get to town, and I can forge you, dragon scale mail or something that's going to be there. So we are definitely going down this mine because this is where the magic items are going to come from. Is I'm making them, but I need materials. Some of them come from monsters. Some of them come from the dirt. I got to go into the dirt to get them, guys. You want better gear? We're going in the dirt.
Fantastic. I had this image which I'm in love with now of like just like chipping away at mithril with like needle nose pliers.
Yeah,
So it's
the,
just like
the and
yeah.
Neil Nose pliers and the Swiss Army knife. I'm good. This is just going to take a little while.
But oh God, I love me some crafting. I've got a whole freaking folder of PDFs and stuff. Is yours out in the wilds? Is that something that people can access or
Yeah, it's on the DM's Guild, the Runecaster Guild's Guide to Crafting.
nice, nice. Link down below. I'm gonna write that down so editor Ryan doesn't forget that in a couple days.
I'll link it to you.
Um, please do because oh man, that's always the best stuff of like, all right, I'm gonna loot this monster. Well, it doesn't have pockets, but like, absolutely, this game should have some cool
Yeah,
stuff here if
dragon scale
manage
mail is
to,
made out of dragon scale. It,
yeah,
that's why it's called that.
yeah. What are you gonna do with a beholder liver? Like
Yeah,
what are the enzymes in there doing? I don't know. Okay, D6 rivals and enemies, an
that is a
NPC that hates us maybe.
that is a 1.
One, Vargic Stonehand steals and ruins reputations by claiming others have stolen their ideas. Ooh,
I
going back to art
like
school.
I like the idea that this is my rival that
Hmm.
used to work for my master, and maybe they're really talented. And they could be good on their own, but they're kind of lazy in a why do my own original work when I could just go out there stealing other people's work and passing it off on my own, which would bother me as both a person and as this character that I'm thinking of playing here, and a reason that I would go out for my master as well in a like, look, if it turns out that this person gets caught being basically plagiarizing, that's not just going to tarnish their reputation. It's going to tarnish the reputation of my master and myself and anyone's trained, and it could even blow back on the guild and bring back down this organization that is an ally of mine. I I can't conscience that. I've got to go out there and do something to try to stop them. So now I'm chasing not only materials around the world, which is a huge, like, hey, dungeon master, here's part of my backstory. I want to go chase rare materials. Put them in a dungeon. I will go into that dungeon. Put my rival out there and that they're selling what either stolen goods or fraudulent goods. I will go there to try to track down that, prove um, the source of that item and that it was not this person passing it off. Here's the original person. So I would give my dungeon master a lot of potential hooks that they could send them and go, I really want to have a dungeon over here. I found this monster. I think it's cool. What could I attach to that? Oh, they have this thing that James would want to prove the origins of this other thing so that they can prove that the rival is a jerk. Or here's a mineral. So it's giving me another thing that I could just hand to the dungeon master and say, hey, this is a person that I'm willing to go places and do things for. This guy, and here's why.
I love it. There's a very cool, like the honor, your integrity is entwined with this character. It doesn't matter. You have nothing to do with what they're doing.
It just bothers
Them
me.
them existing is going to like besmirch your whole organization. The people that
Yeah,
you care about are going to be in trouble because this guy is pretending that they're making, whatever, they're hawking like replica dwarven daggers or whatever the mystery item is. You're trying to make one to prove that, like, no, I can make a better one than what this guy's selling as antiquities. And also, okay, maybe that doesn't work. I'm going to go find the lost
actual, yeah,
dagger of the dwarves. And yeah, perfect. Oh, I love that. Oh, so good. Okay, D6 is an evocative location. And oftentimes I find this is the best way to tie in like other character backstories because, in theory, we
yeah.
have 4 or 5 other people doing stuff like this.
We got a
What do we
good
get for that?
one. We got a 5.
All right, perfect. Bottomless quarry, network of mines and quarries that
Could not
broke
ask for better.
through to the underworld.
Well, maybe the Giants Workshop might have been better, but I'll take the bottomless quarry because now I've got the invisible hand who's wanting to capture the market, and now we've got a bottomless quarry. I'd want to make sure that they don't gain control of that or take control of that from them. And maybe my rival is working with the invisible hand to pass off uh, fake fraudulent things or pass off lesser work. And we're both searching the bottomless quarry as a, if we can find this, these two, my organization might actually be able to unseat the invisible hand and I can make the stuff that I need. And there's no way the bottomless quarry doesn't have some sort of mega dungeon with a bunch of weird, wacky monsters in it for us to go fight.
Oh yeah, 1000%. So here's a secret. Sometimes you roll something and something else jumps out at you, and like, as a creator of this tool, you have my permission to do whatever. So if you would prefer the Giants Workshop,
No,
and or both, like that could be a location inside. I mean, the bottomless quarry is clearly a mega dungeon.
I
Giants
mean, if
Workshop
that was
magical
me,
works at tremendous scale.
I'd leave that to the dungeon master and go, hey, by the way, I thought this was pretty cool, and see if that which one ties into another player's storyline. You
Mm-hmm.
go, would one work better for someone else to link you two up? Yes. So we're going to switch it up and say, hey, here are two things that I thought were good. Because giving the dungeon master, your A and B option, something you do when you've got a bunch of people and you say, hey, I need you all pick something, like say pizza toppings. We're talking about playing role-playing games here. Pizza. You say, what are your top three? List your top three toppings, and somebody, everybody's going to say pepperoni or something, but somebody's going to say mushrooms, and somebody's going to say black olives, and someone's going to say peppers. We're going to get, I now know what to keep off the pizza, but I also know what I can get by on the pizza that somebody, it may not be their favorite topping, but they're okay with it. You're like, yeah, I'm good with that. That way, like if it turned out for another player's story that the giant workshop was their thing, the dungeon master could use that and go, James will be cool with this. This would still be
Mm-hmm.
good. He'll have an interesting story because this is the other player has no interest in the bottomless quarry at all, but they do absolutely have interest in the giant workshop. So we can do that.
Or just like stick it at the bottom of the quarry.
Or stick it at the
Uh,
bottom and just go, it's down there.
it's D&D. There's a hole in the ground. Go get in there.
I mean,
Uh,
why take the minerals somewhere else to work on them if you can work on them here?
that's just efficiency, baby. Come
Yeah.
on. I love it. D6, the final stop, almost the penultimate stop on our tour. Monsters. Can never have enough monsters.
We've got a 5.
5.
Sorry, no, that's the
John
last one. We got a 6. 6.
6. Scrap shardlings, technically oozes, build crustacean-like shells out of reclaimed materials.
I like that. Like weird was it the hermit crab that doesn't actually find its own shell. So you've got like black oozes that have a shell to raise the armor class of the black ooze and go, okay, black oozes are bad enough. Now I got a black ooze attacking you from out of a shell. That's a problem.
Mm.
Especially if the shell is, in this bottomless quarry. And Whitney, you're snoring again. Hi. Hey, wake up. Um,
Love
you got this bottomless quarry. Let's say it's an adamantine quarry. The shell animals that make it out of what they're eating. They don't just like spontaneously create a shell. So now I've got adamantine hermit crab black oozes that are going to be problematic for me to deal with and the rest of my party to deal with and go like, while you mine this thing, you really want us fighting off black oozes that are inside of hermit crab adamantine shells? What nutcase dungeon master thought this was a fair encounter?
Sorry. The last roll is going to be a D20. Plot hook, story seed. Maybe this ties it up in a bow. Maybe this is a total side quest that has nothing to do with anything we just
We got a
established.
4.
4 for 4. A restless spirit is causing chaos in the workshop, and it's getting more destructive.
Uh, So
Or
we got our giant workshop back
yeah.
in the bottomless mine. Uh, if I was I mean, I wouldn't set this up as a player, but if I was the dungeon master looking at this kind of thing, I'd go, okay, what if the arch enemy, the rival, actually found the bottomless quarry first, stole all the artifacts, and that's what they've been pawning off. And that's why the spirit is ticked off. Is
Mm.
someone stole all my artifacts, my work. You've got, a lost trove of Pablo Picasso paintings under there. And then some artist finds it and goes, hey, cool. I could just pass off all Picasso's work as my work. I
Just
can
sign in the
imagine
bottom.
Pablo Picasso coming back and going, no, seriously, someone's got to go stop this jerk. Those are mine. Um, and that would, I mean, that wraps up that idea, that campaign for me. And that's what I would be doing and seeking as kind of a dungeon master. If you need a way for us to go somewhere, all you got to do is like drop in a hint that someone has discovered a new work from here. And my goal is like, Ash Ketchum Gotta go recover all the artifacts, bring them back to the workshop at the bottom of the bottomless quarry, and return them to the spirit because the spirit is going nuts. And if I can calm it, I can turn the bottomless quarry over to my guild, and we will have broken the hold that the invisible hand has on the adamantine trade or whatever it is.
Oh, love it. Love
Cool.
it. I'm working on this travel thing with my buddy, my partner, Twin Steel, and I
Twin
just
Steel.
Twin Steel, what's up? Just wrote down Ghost of a Fire Giant. I was like, ooh, yeah, because ghosts, you think of a ghost, it's like it's gonna be a person, right? Maybe
Yeah.
it's an elf, it's like a banshee. It's just like, this is a ghost. It's 20 feet tall. Like, oh,
Yeah.
whoa, that's a whole oh God.
Not that was
All right.
not the ghost I was imagining.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. I was imagining Slimer and Stay Puft Marshmallow Man showed up.
Mm-hmm.
I need a bigger boat. I'm mixing
Mm-hmm.
movies now.
Choose the form of the destroyer. Okay, any deeply satisfying. I think we got it pretty good, but
Oh yeah.
anything you want to add to this before I switch back to the big screen?
No, no, I think we're good here.
Good stuff. All right,
Awesome.
awesome. Love it, James. Thank you for hanging out, for sharing your creativity with us here today.
Anytime.
Remind the fine folks, DM with the day job. What are you bringing to the table over there?
D&D content, like any good dungeon tuber talking about being a dungeon master, how to do it, how to entertain players, how to like why you would do different things, why we do things the way that we do them, so that you can go, that doesn't work for me. I don't need to do that. Toss that out of here. Well, I'm going to do something else. So, you should know why the rules are the way they are. Not the rules, but like the history and the thing is the way it is so that you can go, yeah, no, I don't need that. That can go away. Or no, that is useful. It would be more useful to me if I did it a different way, and kind of exploring what you might need to do as a dungeon master at any given time. So I'm on YouTube, as Ryan said, DM with a day job. And then Blue Sky also as DM with day job, both on there. Drop me a line, say hi. I will talk to anyone if it's about role playing games. You want to talk to me about something like golf? That you by all means talk to me about it, but I'm not going to have much to say about it. I don't golf, much to my father's chagrin.
And my grandfather tried to get me into it for a long time. I ended up like I like the walking part of it. I just go walk in the
Exactly.
woods.
Yeah, it's the walking is enjoyable, getting out there doing things, but like I do not find this. I find a lot of frustrating things fun. I will play a Dark Souls game and die for hours. I find that fun. The frustration of hitting this tiny little ball and watching it not go where I want it to go, that I do not find fun. If you do, by all means, different strokes for different folks.
Literally, that's a golf
Yeah.
pun, everybody. Paying attention to
Sorry,
keeping
I
score.
apologize.
Uh, what's on deck over there? What's coming up from
Let's see.
the
So,
YouTube channel?
probably right before this video comes out, there's going to be a video about playing demons and devils. And after that one, factions. So my game has a lot of political factions that run around it. We are fighting demons. We are fighting devils occasionally. We're fighting dragons. But behind it all is the politics of a realm that has been in 20 years of civil war. And that means I've got to have a lot of factions, and my players have to figure out how to deal with them. I thought I'd put that all in a video exploring like different kinds of factions because uh, DMs, when they talk about it, usually talk about like this is a faction and it's one that you join and gives you quest rewards and quest things and things like that. Very much like, World of Warcraft faction might do. And then there's other DMs that are like, here's a faction. This is to create political intrigue. And I'm like, well, these are both factions. I'm not sure they're the same kind of faction. Why would I use to what I do in the channel? Why would I use one instead of the other? And this, really I dwell in this more complicated one of like, okay, this one is a bunch of people that want to do, they're thieves. You want an assassin's guild, that's what they do. You want someone assassinated, go talk to them, they'll do the job for you. You want this one is a whole different animal made of a bunch of different people that want different, want the same thing, but for slightly different purposes, and they have they have other interests that they might be more or less interested in, and this is fundamentally not the player's friend. They might be allies.
Love it. Looking forward to it. James, thank you again for hanging out with us today.
Pleasure, Ryan.
Thank you at home for watching. Be kind, have fun. We'll see you next time.
Don't
Bye.
forget to like and subscribe, folks. Later.
Do the stuff.
Bye.